Good evening, welcome to QUT Web News.
Good evening.
Hazel Hawke is being remembered as a beautiful soul and a great Australian. And Bob Hawke says he remembers his ex-wife with deep affection. Hazel died yesterday after a battle with Alzheimer's disease.
Across Australia, tributes have flowed in memory of Hazel Hawke, who died following a long battle with dementia. She has been described as a compassionate, caring and intelligent woman who was brave and community-spirited. Bob Hawke, the longest-serving Labor Prime Minister, remembered his ex-wife and Australia's former First Lady today. Mr Hawke says, "I remember Hazel with deep affection and gratitude. She was more than a wife and mother, being a father as well during my frequent absences."
Mum, Dad, God, everything to us.
Prime Minister Julia Gillard says ordinary Australians saw the best of themselves in Hazel Hawke. And opposition leader Tony Abbott praised her courage in raising the public's awareness of dementia. It was in 2003 when Hazel bravely revealed her battle with Alzheimer's. She continued to be a public advocate for the condition for many years.
Well, I wouldn't have chosen to have Alzheimer's.
Hazel became a patron of more than 40 organisations. The family will hold a private funeral. Details of a public memorial will be announced at a later date. Hazel Hawke was 83. Vanessa Wolfe, QUT News.
The fallout continues from Ford Australia's decision to cease local car manufacturing. Today, attention turned from the factory floor to the boardroom as urgent talks were held in an effort to save Australia's crippling manufacturing sector.
Still reeling from Ford's shock announcement yesterday, opposition leader and Ford driver Tony Abbott appeared on morning radio, less than impressed.
I felt personally like I had a bit of a kick in the guts because I've driven the mighty Ford Territory ever since it came out virtually. It's a terrific car.
Regardless of how good their cars might be, Ford yesterday announced it would be ceasing its Australian manufacturing arm. It follows the company posting a $141 million loss last financial year. That's despite receiving $34 million in taxpayer subsidies last year and more than $1 billion over the past decade.
It's not possible for governments to enter binding agreements with companies where the assistance that is provided does deliver long-term certainty. That's the reality of it.
Ford's decision means the federal government will again be reaching into its pocket. It's already pledged $50 million to help Ford workers find new jobs. Attention now turns to Toyota and Holden in the hope they won't follow Ford's decision.
There are no guarantees in life on anything, John. We certainly want to continue to be able to do things.
Regardless, October 2016 will spell the end of an historic era in Australian automotive history. Michael Kosnowski, QUT News.
Queensland scientists are researching the link between anorexia nervosa and a person's genetics. 1,200 Australian sufferers of the disease will be asked to help with the study.
The international study will cover anorexia sufferers and former sufferers from Australia, America, Sweden and Denmark. Volunteers will be asked to fill out an online questionnaire and donate a small blood sample. Professor Nick Martin will be leading the research in Australia.
We do know that there is quite a strong genetic influence, about 60% of the risk. We now have new techniques in molecular biology which make it a realistic prospect to find the genes that are actually causing this risk of anorexia.
Fellow researcher Professor Cynthia Bullock is from the University of North Carolina. She says Photoshop, fashion and the size zero model are among the reasons why genetically predisposed people suffer from anorexia.
Genes load the gun and environment pulls the trigger.
The study being conducted here at the Queensland Institute of Medical Research gives hope to the 25,000 Australians who are suffering from anorexia nervosa, including survivor June Alexander. June developed the illness when she was 11 and battled it for more than 40 years.
I am just so happy now that we have this research for generations to come.
Results from the study will hopefully be known in 2 to 3 years. Georgia Ether, QUT News.
The big TV switch to digital is just around the corner. Next week, Analogue will be a thing of the past, clearing the way for the future of television.
Next Tuesday, you'd better be digital ready, otherwise this is what you'll see. The 28th of May is the last day of analogue transmission for Brisbane and surrounding suburbs. Most people have chosen to switch over a little while ago and now aren't feeling the pinch.
It's not affecting me. I just brought set-top boxes.
If you've still got an analogue television, it's probably a miracle it's still working. That's just how old they are.
Some small businesses, though, say the switch is starting to hit them hard.
It's just another cost that we have to do for no real benefit.
Even after the turnover, the outcome wasn't as expected.
The TV screens are actually more squished up and, in my opinion, don't look as good.
The switch has created more opportunities for people with a disability. With 61 employed by the Endeavour Foundation, recycling unwanted televisions and computers has proven to be a real benefit.
So now recycling has given them a new lease of life.
If you haven't already made the switch, now might be a good time, with various retailers slashing TV prices over the weekend. JB Hi-Fi is expecting a rush this weekend.
We're looking at doing an increase on the discounts on our set-top boxes, and we're more than happy to sort anybody out who's coming in to look for a set-top box this weekend.
Forbes McHale and his partner Leela have come up with other ways of preserving history, repurposing old TVs.
You can be really creative with the things that you're throwing away. You don't have to just put them out on the footpath for them to become landfill.
Jessica Case, QUT News.
Queensland is getting ready to paint the town green, white and red, with Italian Weeks kicking off on Sunday. Delicious food, dramatic performances and wondrous workshops will light up the River City for the 7th year running.
Italians are known for their love of coffee and music, but most importantly, their food. So much, a favourite can't be chosen.
Everything. I can't pinpoint one particular thing because it's all good. It's all good.
The food, like you know, the most important food in Italy is pizza and pasta.
From Sunday, events right across Brisbane hope to bring together everything there is to love about Italian culture.
We see Italian culture as being something that is much more tactile, much more engaging than just simply attending and participating in events. The joy di vivere, the joy of the Italian lifestyle is what we're looking to celebrate.
Whether you're eating the food or learning about the culture, there is something for everyone. Pasta making classes on Sunday, a cooking masterclass on Monday, and a look into the history of Italian dance on Wednesday. For all the events, head to italianweek.com.au. Running for the whole week is this photography exhibition here in Alderley.
I have millions of photos because every time I travel I'm always with the camera. So we decided to do one exhibition about Italy, and this selection in particular is about Tuscany.
And of course, the best way to get around town to all the events is on an Italian scooter, like this Vespa. Conor, Tobin, QUT News.
Reigning AFL Premiers, the Sydney Swans, will be looking to break a hoodoo against Collingwood at the MCG tonight. It's the opening match of the league's Indigenous round.
80,000 fans are expected at tonight's Collingwood versus Swans match. Sydney may have won the premiership here last year, but they haven't beaten the Magpies at the G since round 19 in 2000. Coach John Longmire isn't concerned.
We don't spend much time thinking about records. It's largely irrelevant to what we do, and we just look at the team that we've got now, the team that Collingwood have got, and the form that both teams are in.
For the Pies, star defender Heath Shaw is still out with a hamstring injury, but forward Andrew Cracko is confident his team will get the job done.
We've gone into great detail how we're going to try to beat them, so the boys are up for it, and hot spirits are high, and hopefully we can get the result we like.
Time now for a look at the weather. It's been another cool autumn day in Brisbane with grey skies and light showers leading into the weekend. Across the southeast, Ipswich and the Gold Coast had temperatures of 17 degrees, while Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast were a little warmer, a top of 22. Around the nation tomorrow, Canberra will wake up to -2 degrees in the morning, warming up to 18 degrees. Showers and clouds expected for Adelaide, Melbourne, Hobart and Sydney. While it'll be fine and sunny in Perth and Darwin, a top of 29 there. The forecast for Queensland, mostly fine and sunny with tops of 26 for Cairns and Townsville, 23 for Mount Isa and Longreach, a brief shower in Mackay with a maximum of 23. Cold temperatures and patchy clouds expected for Rockhampton and Bundaberg, Brisbane can expect a shower or two tomorrow and Sunday, but it's set to clear up on Monday with tops of 23. And that brings you up to date with the weather.
That's all the news we have for tonight and for this semester.
We'll be back in September with more QUT web news. Good night.
Good night.